Part two, now we're going to talk about shooting people. You should sit people down. That this is true of taking pictures, this is true of doing interviews, that people tend to be more relaxed when they're seated, especially if you're taking pictures of them. Like, a lot of people freak out in front of cameras, so sitting them down and relaxing them is a very quick way to get a much better result. The next thing to know is that if you come in close with a wide angle camera, you're going to add pretty big time distortions to the face. Like, this is the difference on the left between a 28 millimeter camera, which is pretty similar to a 35 millimeter, which is what most little point and shoot cameras are. And then if you look at a 35 millimeter or a 135 on the right, you get a much nicer portrait. So be aware that if you extend the lens as far as you can to shoot it as telephoto as it'll get, you'll get a much better quality portrait. That you don't get that. And if you look at people's before and afters, you see a lot of this wall-eyed, giant-nosed look. Here's another example. As the focal length, as you go more towards the telephoto end of the lens, you get a much more flattering portrait. So try to shoot, if you're shooting with a camera that has an extendable lens, shoot it as extended as you can. You'll get a better quality portrait. Try not to get too close. If you pull back and get a more atmospheric shot, you're going to get a less distorted shot. So your videos typically are going to be pretty good because you're pulling back to shoot the whole room. The person's, if it's horizontal, they're a small part of it on the right side. So something to be aware of is that as you come in close with a 35 millimeter camera, you're going to get a lot of distortion. So make sure you're shooting people from a good enough distance not to whack them out too much.